Americans are leaving the United States en masse. 2022, more Americans left the United States than in the prior 5 years combined. Adults over the age of 45 represent the largest portion of those fed up with the United States and moving elsewhere. Many blame the rising costs of living, taxes, as well as politics. One retiree commented, "I think that people are beginning to wonder if the United States is as great a place as they always thought it was." In fact, politics are pushing Americans on both sides of the aisle to pack their bag. The 2021 election of Biden and COVID-19 pandemic all significantly drove up clicks to Where Can I Live, a consulting business for people who need help with the logistics of moving to another country. Where are people leaving to? Well, Portugal, Uruguay, Costa Rica, and Dubai are a few popular destinations. I think one thing to keep in mind here is the quality of living. A lot of people are moving to other countries expecting the same amenities that we have here in the United States.
Shalom, Kahala Yahweh Bashem Yahshai, Bashem Kokardash. Double honors my teachers, the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Peace and mercy to the elect, with the house of David reborn again in this generation. And Shalom to the 130 Yasharallah, who today are known as the Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, who before losing our true heritage, we were known as, and still are, the true Hebrew Israelites of the Holy Bible. In today's lesson, we're going to talk about the video clip we just watched and how that is fulfilling biblical prophecy. Right? Let's start with this scripture. This is Isaiah 13 and 14. "And it shall be as the chased roe, and as a sheep that no man taketh up. They shall every man turn to his own people, and flee every one into his own land." You see, this is what's going on right now, right? And you know, this video clip that we just watched didn't necessarily go into like that right there isn't specifically this, right? Because that, for the most part, was talking about retirees or basically American citizens, right? But you got to remember, America is that great seething pot, right? That the prophet seen when he was asked by the Lord what he seeth, right? Or what we refer to today as the great melting pot, where all bunch of different nationalities come together here in America. Well, these people who either came here when they were young to get their fortunes, well, they've now seen the debauchery and how basically Babylon the Great, which is the biblical name for America, is simply just, circling the drain, as the apostles say, right? This is America is on its way out, right? And everybody sees it, right? The Wall Street executives and the bankers, they knew this way back in 2008, after all those Wall Street executives took out all those massive bonuses with the money that they were bailed out with, right? Then you had politicians basically just pulling out tons of money from everything that they could get, right? And this is what we're ultimately seeing, is pretty much the rats leaving the ship that's sinking, right? That's ultimately what's happening. And the majority of Americans, right, the majority of the people who are naively ignorant to what's going on, they're simply there, like on the Titanic, just wondering what's for dinner, what's on the dinner menu, right? While you have the band playing, but you have all the elites and the rich people basically gathering their jewels and their riches and all their substance and making way for the lifeboats. That's what you're seeing here. You're seeing the people who have the means to leave Babylon, starting to take action, right? And Apostle Tahar's talked about this as far as like trying to secure your purchasing power by buying silver or gold, right? See, that's what's happening. You have a lot of society trying to make moves for what's best for them, right? We've seen it with a few years ago. I'm sure a lot of you, Joachim, have seen signs at all your jewelry shops, or just even random little freaking thrift shops that say "We buy gold." Well, guess what? That gold was being purchased and sucked all the way down over there to India, Russia, China, and all these other places who are basically preparing for what we are about to go through, right? And I was watching some videos today that showed, man, that they're speculating that supposedly there was a leak that the BRICS nations will basically be fully off of the U.S. dollar by September, right? So that right there is basically 6 months away, half a year away, okay? And then on top of that, we already heard that around June, July, when the government starts making its budget for the next following year, that's when we're going to start seeing the introduction of the Federal Reserve CBDCs. This is why you're seeing so many laws right now attempting to be passed to try to stop these devils, from initiating that central bank digital currency, right? But again, all these things that I'm talking about, plus the video we just watched, are all symptoms of people fleeing Babylon, right? And fulfilling this prophecy right here, right? Every man turn to his own people and flee everyone into his own land, right? And like I said, a lot of these people who are leaving are these rich foreigners who came here when they were young. They opened up the convenience stores, they opened up, import-export places, but now they're ultimately going back to their homelands, right? Notice that it said a lot of the places that they were going to was Dubai and countries in South America. Well, guess who's going back to those places? The people who came here when they were young. And another thing too, this ultimately is the Lord directing the path to the people who He does not want to be destroyed here in America, right? I'm not saying that you're not gonna, if you flee America, that you're going to escape the judgment. Because again, if you are destined to be destroyed, right, along with the 2/3 or basically the people in the world that are going to be judged either by the sword, by the famine, or by the nuclear missiles, there ain't a place that you could go, man. The Lord's going to basically track you down with heat-seeking missiles for the most part, right? These heat-seeking curses are going to follow you. And here's the proof. This is Deuteronomy 28:45. Moreover, all these curses shall come upon thee, and shall pursue thee, and overtake thee, till thou be destroyed, because thou hearkeneth not unto the voice of Yahweh Bashem Yashai, thy power, to keep His commandments and His statutes which He commanded thee. So you see, man, these curses that are upon us, which ultimately can be the curse of death, they're going to basically follow you no matter where you go. So just like the elder Manata Zakba said, man, you cannot flee Babylon and be secure that you're going to be free from the judgment, man. No, like I said, what we're seeing now with all these other people fleeing, these are just the people who are fulfilling the prophecy of every man fleeing into his own land, and basically no longer wanting to touch America, right? Everyone who shall see her shall flee away, right? Because again, right now America's vileness. Let's actually get that real quick. This is Nahum 3, and let's start at 5. Behold, I am against thee, saith Yahweh Bashem Yashai of hosts. I will discover thy skirts upon thy face, and I will show the nations thy nakedness, and the kingdoms thy shame. And this is ultimately talking about Babylon the Great, America, right? The empire of these Edomites, right? And the Edomites themselves, right? And I will cast abominable filth upon thee, and make thee vile, and will set thee as a gazing stock. And it shall come to pass that all that look upon thee shall flee from thee, and say, Nineveh is laid waste, who will bemourn her? Whence shall I seek comforters for thee? Right? And the point here is this part here, right? Everybody that will look upon the American ways, the new way that America is living now, it's propaganda, and it's filth that it's pushing through these school boards and all these things, right? People are going to see that and see the wickedness of these Edomites in this empire. They're going to want to just get out of here, right? Like one of the articles I was reading and researching for this lesson is saying that Americans are fleeing to other countries to find the American dream. Because again, that lifestyle, that life where you could go and make something of yourself, is no longer really possible here in America, right? Everybody is for a prey, right? Everything's a gimmick, a hustle, right? You can't really make that much money, here and stuff, right? Look at rent, look at the prices of houses. The brother, Fear the Most High, the brother Require Quam from London, he made a beautiful video, I think yesterday, it was yesterday or this morning, I think I seen it, talking about how inflation rates are going to go up, right? He was talking about the elder Arya, I believe, or not Arya, Salaki, one of the brothers, one of the elders, Salaki, I can't remember his name, but he's always posting super edifying, really, deep insights into financial details. Ariala, I believe is Salaki. If that's not the brother's name, Salaki. But again, If you want, you could watch this video from the brother Require Quam's channel. It's called Fear the Most High 7, right? He's one of the brothers from the London camp, and he basically went into talking about how America is basically going to continue to raise interest rates, and what that ultimately is going to do is going to basically cause all these companies to basically start laying people off. And again, my wife, she works for the unemployment agency, right? And she's seeing tons and tons of overtime being offered, and they're just getting inundated right now with tons of unemployment requests. So I could vouch for this, man. This is actually happening, and it's only going to continue to get worse, you know. But hey, you know, like it says, man, in the Bible. What does it say? It says, Luke 21:28, and when these things begin to come to pass, then look up and lift up your heads, for your redemption draweth nigh. And that's ultimately what's going on, man. Because what this ultimately means, man, is look for the Lord and look for His arrival. Because again, remember, man, just as it tells you in Acts that the Lord, He's going to come back the exact same way He left. And how is that? Well, He's going to come back in a cloud. What is that cloud? That cloud over those chariots, those, you know, so-called UFOs that the people of this world call them, right? But again, it doesn't matter, you know, what you're doing right now if it's not involving getting closer to the Lord, right? Especially if you're a Negro, Latino, Native Americans, right? Right now, you're seeing people running to and fro, as the scriptures say, you know, trying to do the most, but you know, ultimately, you know, it ain't gonna fucking amount to shit. You got a lot of brothers, you know, or people, you know, Hebrew Israelites, you know, in this truth with trying to freaking, you know, hustle and make investments and do all these things, which is, that's fine, right? But you know, it's not nothing bad about, you know, trying to, you know, prepare for yourself. But you know, see, this is all that they're doing, right? These are the people you see on Instagram, Facebook, and you know, TikTok. You know, they're showing off their jewelry, their clothing, you know, all these things, man. They're all going after the wrong things, man. They think that they're doing something, but ultimately, man, they're spiritually empty, and ultimately they're not going to be able to stand in front of the Lord in the day that He comes back, right? So this is why, you know, I'm making this video, because I wanted to just show you, Akim, man, that these prophecies, that they're being fulfilled in front of our very eyes, man. So again, like the scripture just says here, man, right? When you see these things begin to come to pass, then look up and lift up your heads, for your redemption draweth nigh. Which means what? That it is better for you. What does the scripture say? Blessed is he that looketh for his master when he returns, than those who are, you know, in the house of mirth. You know, Salaki, I know I butchered that, but you know, paraphrasing, right? So it's better for you to be looking into what's going on, right? Look, you know, studying these scriptures, watching these lessons. You know, I tell the body, man, you know, you don't have to be a deep, you know, learner, man, where you're there with all your notebooks and you're fucking, you know, calculating every word. A lot of times, man, this is like the apostles say, man, it's a repetitive teaching. This is why the apostles go into, you know, the milk every once in a while. They'll keep going over and over again. And why is that? Because just like King Solomon, when he would recite the Psalms over and over to our people, and the other prophets and the other kings, you know, this is a way for us to basically just, you know, bring it into our mind, you know, bring it in and meditate upon these scriptures, right? Is to just, you know, how does it say, like, passively listen to lessons, passively listen to the Bible, just, you know, always just be immersed in it, man. You don't have to be paying 100%, you know, 100% attention, right? You could be paying 60% attention, you know, 80%, you know, just have it in the background. And then what's going to happen is the Lord's going to touch your spirit, and He's going to make you pay attention, focus on the parts that you need to. And then what's going to eventually happen is what happened to me. You're going to be listening to a story, or you're going to be reading a verse, and you're going to be like, oh yeah, that's what happened with this person, or that's, you know, what caused this. And then the Lord will start answering the questions before you even have the questions yourselves, right? So, hey, man. So again, I know I kind of went off of there a little bit, Akim, like I digressed, but hey, I just wanted you to watch that scripture, because again, you know, the real fleeing out of America isn't getting on these planes or boats and trying to go to other countries, man. The real exiting and leaving of Babylon, America, is by removing yourself spiritually, man, disconnecting from the American way of life, right? It tells you here, Jeremiah 51:6, flee out of the midst of Babylon and deliver every man his soul, right? So how do you do that? How do you deliver your soul, right? Do you put it in a box? Do you wrap it up? Do you take an injection and suck it out like you do blood? No. You deliver your soul by changing your way of life, right? And how do you do that? By eating these scriptures, by meditating on them, by like I said, just passively and actively listening to them when you have time, right? So again, this is the part, man. This is how you're gonna spiritually remove yourself out of America, right? By disconnecting from the American way, man. No longer being involved in these elections, which are about to kick up again, man. We're about to see the folly of the next election cycle, I think back in 2024. So, towards the end of this year, we're going to see some crazy shit, man. More politicians are going to go crazy. You have a lot of crazy stuff with politicians, but I'm not going to get into that. It says, be not cut off in her iniquity, for this is the time of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai's vengeance. He will render unto her a recompense. So again, this is how you flee Babylon, man, is by spiritually removing yourself from its ways, man. Don't get involved in its in its last death throes of it fucking arguing with the LGBT people or the people who talk about Black Lives Matter. Man, none of that shit fucking matters, man. Don't worry about the drama, right? Like I said, man, like I tell people, man, don't get involved in drama and don't even pay attention to it, man. Just focus on the scriptures, focus on you making it, Lord willing, to the end, right? That's what you got to focus on. Let's see what else I got here. That's it, Akim. But yeah, that's pretty much it, man. So again, ultimately, like the scripture says here, when you see these things begin to come to pass, then look up. Lift up your heads, for your redemption draweth nigh. And we're there, Akim, right? It is more evident now that these prophecies are playing out. And, like the apostles have been saying, man, we only got those two major prophecies, big major prophecies that gotta, kick off, right? Which is the making mandatory of the RFID microchips, and then World War III, right? And then in between that time, you're gonna see a lot of little prophecies, break out, like these people, these foreigners, these other nations fleeing back to their own countries, people fleeing Babylon. You're gonna see the economy collapse. You're gonna see the Jacob's trouble, which is ultimately martial law, which is gonna be a result of people just losing it, right? Like Gerald Celente, the trends, analyst, right? A financial trends analyst. He says when people lose it, how's it go? He's all, when people have nothing to lose, they lose it, and that's ultimately what's going on, man. These devils in the attempt to make you own nothing and be happy, they're going to take everything away from you. Everything. Your car, your ability to drive, and they're going to do it slick, man. They're going to make it seem like it's your fault because you can't afford it. It's your fault that you can't afford the registration fees or the rent or the food, and then they're going to bring out these freaking company cities, and they're going to bring out subsidized social housing and shit, man, and you're going to thank them for it, man. You're going to think Esau's the fucking angel of salvation, man, coming through with free healthcare, free schooling that's not pushing these, crazy ass agendas and views, right? But hey, never trust thy enemy, as the scriptures say, Hakim. So, hopefully this video was edifying. Until next time, I want to give all honor and glory and praises to Yahweh, Ba'Shem Yahushai, Ba'Shem Kodesh. Double honors my teachers, the apostles and the elders, great millstone. Peace and mercy to the elect. Shalom.